Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to Outdoor and Door Texan. Today we're going to be walking through an absolutely delicious old southern recipe, pickled shrimp. Either you grew up having this, most likely because you live somewhere on the Gulf Coast, or you've never heard of this and think I've absolutely lost my mind. But I'm here to tell you, it's tangy, it's a little spicy, and hey, it's shrimp. Give this a try because you really won't regret it. Getting right down to it, you need 1 pound of cooked shrimp. I just grabbed some Gulf shrimp at our local store and did a quick boil and blanch job by dropping them in boiling water for a couple of minutes, then immediately placing them into a bowl of ice to stop the cooking process and keep them from getting rubbery. If you don't have locally caught raw shrimp available where you live, no big deal. You're free to use frozen shrimp instead. Whatever you use though, just make sure they're peeled, deveined, and cooked through. Once they're pink and curly, set them to the side and we can move on to building our brine. In a small to medium pot, add 1 cup of white vinegar, half a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, half a tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns, 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of pickling spices, 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds, and finally, half a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. So we're pretty much raiding the spice cabinet, and there's plenty of room here to tweak if you have a favorite herb or spice that you'd rather taste in this blend. So feel free to tinker and report back in the comments below if you tried something slightly different than this and really like the results. Now set your range to high and bring your brine to a brief boil to ensure that the salt, sugar, and other ingredients are well combined. Then turn off the heat and let it come all the way back down to room temperature. While we wait for this to cool, let's head over to our mason jar to get those steps started. This recipe calls for a 1-quart mason jar and lid. Also, make sure they're both properly sterilized before we start packing any food in it. This is a refrigerator pickle recipe and not a shelf-stable pickle recipe, but it's still always a good habit to sterilize all your supplies. Place 2 crushed cloves of garlic and 1 mysterious bay leaf into the jar. And now we're going to get the remaining ingredients set out so we can layer everything when we're ready. There's our main ingredient, the 1 pound of boiled shrimp, then 1 small onion cut into very thin slices. That's about half a cup of sliced mushrooms, a 3.5 ounce jar of capers. There's our brine we just put together and let cool back to room temperature. And finally, half a cup of olive oil. Now just start layering your solid ingredients into the jar. I like to make bands of onions and then shrimp and mushrooms and then capers and just keep repeating this until everything is tightly packed all the way up to the top of the jar. Once you're done with the solids, pour in your olive oil as well as the brine. You don't really need headspace, so you can pour straight to the top, and don't forget to include all those aromatic bits that came in the brine as well. They still have plenty of flavor to impart while the shrimp sits and soaks in all that liquid. Screw down the lid and let the jar sit in your fridge for at least 24 hours, if not longer. The longer it sits, the better the flavors develop, so try your best to be patient. Once you're ready to dive in, it makes for a great appetizer set out at a party and served on a cracker. Or you can drizzle it over some lettuce and spinach and make a fantastic tangy shrimp salad. Or you can just eat it out of the jar like a little shrimp goblin. You do you. The greater point here is it's easy to whip up, it stays fresh in your fridge for at least a week, so it's a nice prepped meal ready to go. And if you like shrimp and that bite of acidic flavors, you're going to absolutely love this. That'll do it for this one, and thank you all so much for watching. I'm always happy to hear from my viewers, so please feel free to leave any questions or feedback in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Now, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, it means the world to me, and you'll have access to countless recipes with more content to come. All right, y'all, take care.